Okay, so before I go on and talk about the nuts and bolts of how EasyOrder works, I like to explain kind of who we are as a company and how we got here, with EasyOrder. Um, our business started about 15 years ago, and I was in marketing, advertising, and sales, and my father was an entrepreneur. He owned a pharmacy and many other businesses in Austin, Texas. That's where we're at. And so he had this pharmacy, and he wanted to bring in inkjet refilling to the pharmacy to kind of, people were already coming there to refill their prescriptions. Why not refill their cartridges? And so it seemed like a good idea. He bought some equipment and everything else. He asked me to come help him run it because he couldn't run it, and I was kind of burnt out with what I was doing. And he basically said, come in here, help me run this, and we'll see what we can do with it. And so we started getting more business-to-business customers that needed toner. We learned how to refill toner cartridges and remanufacture the entire process for that. And then when it came time to sell to our customers online, our idea was, let's build a typical e-commerce website. That was my idea, at least. And he said, no. He's been very customer service driven all his life. He was a realtor for a while and stockbroker for a while. He was very customer centric with his thinking. And so he said, something that's more personal than that and more customer service driven. And so why don't we do it in a totally different way and make it all about the customer? Because if you make it all about the customer and then they love it and you make it easy for them, they're going to keep ordering from you. And that's more than just like having a good price and being able to sell a good product. It's having the convenience of being able to order from you in the most easy way possible, and the customer doing like the least amount of work possible. That was kind of our theory as we started building this product. So fast forward, 15, 12 really years later after development, and we're still going strong. And the concept of keeping the customer first is something that's separating other ink and toner dealers from all the other competition that's out there. Because if you put your customer first, they're going to reward you with their loyalty. That's our mantra. And it's sort of been proven over time that this does work. And if you treat your customers better than everybody else does, that's another reason to order from you. Because honestly, you guys are selling commodities. I know you have this awesome experience where people have to buy from you, but most people don't get that. But you still want to make it easy for them, and easy for you as well. So I like to tell people that because we're not just software guys trying to sell you software, and we sell it to a ton of different industries. This is 100% laser focused on selling ink and toner. And like I said, we're from the toner industry. We've been in the trenches selling ink and toner to people. We know what works. And after 12 years of listening to our hundreds of customers and what they go through and what's successful for them, we try to share that with you. So we kind of think of us as more of like your sales partners and not really as your software provider. We try to help you gain sales and find ways to, improve your business and things like that. So that's where we're coming from. So now we're on to the nuts and bolts part of how EasyOrder works. Okay, so we talked about making this about the customer. We talked about making it easy for them, not having them do much work. And so what you're going to do with customers is, as you get a customer who wants to order from you, you're going to log in here and you're going to input the customer. And this is great. You talked about having casinos and hotels and hospitals and schools. Like, they love EasyOrder because you can really make it easy for them to break it out into their departments, their separate locations, their different buildings. We have purchasing so that, if one location orders but it needs to be approved by a purchaser, we have that whole hierarchy set up. If it's ever been done in the cartridge industry, likely we've seen it, and we can do it with EasyOrder. So that's a good thing. So when you get a chance to set up your first customer, first thing is we have in our download section right here, we have these things called customer printer worksheets. And what these are kind of a guide for you to take to the customer or you to send to the customer, and you get their printer inventory. And this will work especially for you guys, because if everybody has to order from you, you can send these out. Here's how this is what I need from you in order to get your information put in. And they can give you their company name. And these are editable PDFs. You just touch in here and type. And so you don't have to print it and write on it and scan it back and send it. You just type on it and then send it, and then they can send it right back to you. And it basically says, printer identification. Who uses this printer? Bob's printer, office copier. What's the make and model? HP Color LaserJet. And then what's the department is it in? So if it's in sales or administration. For schools, this could be rooms. I've seen people break it into teacher's lounge, computer lab, this and that. And so the department's really important to get that information, because not only are you making it easier for them to find the printers and stuff that they have in their system, they can track it by department. So if all of a sudden the teacher's lounge is blowing up with ordering ink and toner for those printers, they can go, wow, the teacher's lounge is way over ordering, and then they can correct that and see who's doing that, and it just helps them. So the more information you have, the easier it's going to be for them to find their products, and the more they're going to think that you're a wizard because you've created this amazing customized ordering experience for them that they're not going to get anywhere else. I mean, you're not going to get this from Staples. You're not going to get this from, I mean, you have to do all the work to get it from Staples, for as far as reordering product, but it's still not as customized as you could have it. And then every other person that sells cartridges out there is just e-commerce, where you sign up for yourself, you find all your cartridges, you place the orders. So we like to call EasyOrder B2B VIP, because it's a way to treat your business customers like VIP customers, because again, you're doing a service for them that they can't get anywhere else. So when you're ready to set up a customer, all you have to do is start off with manage customers. That'll take you into your managed customers, and normally all your customers will be displayed here. These are the action buttons, always are going to be at the top. If you want to do anything in EasyOrder, they're always going to be right here at the top. We also, if you hover over anything and you're not sure what a button does, we usually, put something over it so you can see what's happening with that button, whether it's a purchaser or whatever. If you mouse over it, we'll try to tell you a little bit about it. So from here, we're just going to click on New, and this is going to start a new customer. And I'm going to come in here and add ABC Bank as our customer. And you can have multiple stores, but you won't. You'll just have your In the Sync store. ABC Bank's here. Do you want to use desktop branding? Yes. The first thing it asks is of importance is, do you want to lock this customer's order form? And the reason this is important and also cool for you guys is because if you had a normal e-commerce website, you would sort of live and die by the price that you show online. If it shows for $39.99 and that was a mistake, you have to give that customer that price because that's what was online. And with EasyOrder, you can actually have different pricing per customer per order form. So for example, if you have a church that's your church and you want to give them like a heavier discounted product than you would normally, you could do that for the church, and only the church would know about it, and none of your other customers would see that price. And so it's private ordering, private pricing. So if you do give somebody, let's say you bid that school and you win the bid and you've locked into the prices that you've set, you can lock this order form for special pricing. And then when you do updates, when you update your pricing, it won't touch any of the locked order forms prices on their order forms. It sort of sticks. So that's really important. So if you bid people's stuff, you can have prices that just stay that way. Everything else is kind of basic. I'm going to go through here and fill this out. Counting, and I'll just put in whatever address. Don't worry about this stuff. This is more like if you ever get into national kind of business and have a lot of sales reps, we can talk about what that kind of stuff means. But just set up a basic customer. So all you need is kind of the company name and the billing information for corporate or the customer. So I'm going to click Save. That's going to take us to add a location for ABC Bank. Now, I really want to stress this because a lot of people were confused before I stressed this in training. There's a big difference between a customer, managed customers, this is ABC Bank, that's the customer. What we're adding right now is a location for ABC Bank. So with EasyOrder, I mentioned you could have one location for a customer, or you could have 10,000 locations for a customer. It doesn't really matter. But how we differentiate is by location. And so ABC Bank is the customer, kind of the umbrella name customer, and then each location is one of their locations. So if you have a customer that only has one location and that's all they're going to have, we pre-fill this out for you. You don't have to touch it. And this indicates when you save this that they only have one location. But if you're setting with a customer, maybe the hospital has different buildings, maybe the schools have different buildings, and you want to separate those things out other than by department, you can definitely go in here and change this to, for us, this would be like ABC Bank, Austin, Texas. And so by typing in Austin in the location, you're saying this location for ABC Bank is in Austin, or it could be location 123, it could be the administration building, it could be whatever for that customer it is that separates that location from another one. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yes, that makes sense. Sorry, I had you on mute.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, that's the difference between a location and a customer, and I just really want to get that straight right away because it just makes it easier once you realize that. And you can have as many locations as you want to. I have people who have nationwide business all over the country. They've started with a couple locations. They get to corporate. Corporate gives them a few more to try, and then all of a sudden they have 400 locations across the U.S. And it happens all the time. So you're able to handle that type of business with this type of system. And one of our clients does all the Liberty Tax locations in the East Coast. And before they ordered from him, they were like, I tell you what, I would never order from anyone else. And not because of your cartridges or your prices, those are great, but because you've turned our chaos into order that we had for ordering ink and toner. And we didn't know what we were buying. We didn't know where it was being sent. We were just kind of paying the credit card bill and didn't know anything about what was going on. So having a setup like this where you can track everything for the customer, they absolutely love it, and your bigger customers will eat this up. So for ABC Bank, we're going to give them a login. I'm going to turn off this little thing that fills in. It's trying to fill in form stuff for me. I forgot to do that before our training. Let me pause this and turn that off. Extensions enabled. Pardon me for this. Okay. And resume. Okay, cool. So I'm going to refresh this real quick. Okay, so we're back here. We have to give them a login for ABC Bank. I'm going to change this to Austin, just like we were before. And I usually use something like, company centric. So if it's ABC Bank 02, it'll check and let you know if that's available. We share username banks through everybody who has EasyOrder. So if you ever come across one that's not, you do a real simple one, it's taken, it's because somebody else in the system has used that before. We have to have unique logins for everybody. So login, password. You can change this password. We provide a really secure password. You can change the password. The customer's usually never going to see the password. They're going to be using the desktop icon to log in, and so you really don't have to worry about that. The more secure, obviously, you can make it, the better. So you can either change it or you can leave it the same either way. I'm going to set myself up as the customer. Just so I can show you guys the customer experience. Okay, so the next thing is the order reminder. The order reminder is there, and again, this is what sets us apart from e-commerce type systems. Is we're really a marketing-driven system. We're driven to keep you in front of the customer, to keep you knowing of the customer's habits, to keep you informed when the customer stops ordering. And so this is an order reminder alert. And what that does is you can set it for 90 days, 60 days, 30 days, whatever you think the customer's order frequency will be. You can obviously change it later and dial it into what their actual frequency is. You may want to start with 90 and then just kind of massage that in. And if they only order once a year, then you can change it to that. But the order frequency will just alert you when they've stopped ordering within that time frame. So if you haven't heard from them in 90 days, EasyOrder will send you a notification saying, hey, ABC Bank hasn't ordered in 90 days. You probably want to check on them. A lot of times when I was running my business back in the day, I would come across an old invoice and I would see the company name and I'd be like, oh, you know what? I haven't heard from ABC Bank in forever. And then I look back at my invoices and my records and find it's been 6 months or maybe a year since I've talked to them. And so this keeps you in front of your customer. So if the customer stops ordering, EasyOrder gets you connected with that, and so you can follow up with them and make sure they're okay. There's actually ways, if you turn on some of our marketing features, the automated email section, where you can actually have the system send the customer an email after this threshold has been met, and then the customer will get an email that says, hey, we miss you. How can we help? One of our reps will be contacting you shortly, that sort of thing. So EasyOrder can help you follow up. And it's really handy to just let the system kind of help you with those things. Sales reps, if you have a sales rep and you're going to go out and maybe hire somebody to help you out and you want to tag them to customers, you can absolutely do that. And then you can tag the sales rep to the customer, and then you can run commission reports at the end of the month and pay them commission or however you want to do that. So you just know we have a full, robust sales person system. Tax rate, if it's a school or a government thing, you may have a 0 tax rate. You set that up per customer per order form. You can also have a default tax rate, which we can do in the back end here in a little bit. And what that'll do is anything that's not set here to 0, it'll just put that tax rate in. And so whatever your state's tax rate is, we can use that. These discount rates we don't use too often, or I don't see them used too often, but they're to give an extra discount off your already discounted prices. And so if your price is normally $39.99 and you put 5% off, this will give a 5% in Remand. You'll give them a 5% discount off that $39.99 that's on their order form. It's just to give an extra discount on top, and you can do it for Remand, OEM, or compatible. A lot of people don't use this, but it's in there because a couple people wanted it. Delivery and shipping. Now this one's important. Everybody, I work a lot with Cartridge Worlds. We're kind of the #1 ordering system for all the franchise. And they used to deliver everything for free, no matter what it was. And a lot of people were running around delivering $20 cartridges, an hour away, and that just wasn't feasible for a lot of businesses. And so we built this as a way to kind of push the customer to upsell them to make it worth the free delivery. And so you have a free delivery charge here. The average of what I see is $7.75. It'll be up to you if you're delivering, 2 hours away. It's up to you on how you do this. But I definitely would do an upcharge. What this does is if they only ordered a $20 cartridge and they expect you to deliver it, they'll get a $7 fee if they select nothing else. But as they check out, the system goes, oh, you didn't, remember you get free shipping at $75. Are you sure you don't want to add some more on? And most of the time the customer adds enough on to qualify for free shipping because they don't want to pay that $7 just to get it to them. So it helps upsell the customer into a higher ticket. And that's what it's designed for. This may be helpful to you because of the kind of customers that you have with larger accounts. This approval minimum is great for customers who have large accounts, but they don't want to approve orders. They just want to basically approve orders if they're over a certain amount. So you could set like a $350 threshold with your customer, and they wouldn't necessarily have to approve every order that comes through, but if an order goes over $350, then they would get notified that they would need to approve that order before it was viable. And so that's in there for that, and you may be able to use that. Everything else here is kind of defaults. Show retail prices, display prices to customer. This is all just default stuff. Keep it on. The shipping is here. This is for the location that we're talking about, for the Austin location of ABC Bank. This is their address. If you want to copy that down to billing, you can. Or if you're billing corporate, the address we set up before for ABC Bank, you can just select yes and then use that address, and essentially we'll bill corporate but ship to this location. Credit card processing, we do have credit card processing available. It's an extra fee. It's $10. It's $10 a month for us, our charge for it. And then basically you need to get an online merchant account. An online merchant account. The two we use are Authorize.net and PayPal Pro for Business. 100% of people that use our credit card processing use Authorize.net. I think they're cheaper. As far as what they charge. They charge a small per transaction fee and a small monthly fee, I think. But we can get you information about that. I do recommend that you do credit card processing for all your customers just because, you have customers that may want net 30 terms, but most of a cartridge business, I saw a statistic the other day, and it was 20% of a cartridge business overhead is tied up in A&R. And you don't want to, as somebody who's getting into this, and getting a lot of good business, you don't have all that tied up in A&R if you don't have to. I don't know what the rules are, but if you can have them paid by credit card, that's awesome. And so if you do that, if you want that, turn that on for this customer, you just say yes, and they will have to, at the end of their checkout, they have to put in their credit card number. It's all secure, ready to go. If this is a terms customer, you can always lose it. Say no and then bill them. And so you can do it per customer, per order form. Everything makes sense so far?
Yeah, it sure does.
No problem. And I encourage you guys, I like this to be like a conversation. So if you want to ask me any questions or anything like during the process, just let me know. Okay. So
one thing about the credit cards.
Yes, sir.
Is it saved? Does it save the credit card in the system?
No, it doesn't. We have to be what's called PCI compliant. And PCI compliant means we can't save people's credit card numbers just in case there was something to be hacked. You hear all the stories about stuff getting hacked, it's stolen, and all this other stuff. So we make them put it in every time just for safety reasons. We want to be super secure. And so when it's encrypted and sent to the payment processor, it's very secure. But holding the credit card companies, even if we had something in the cloud that a third-party company held our credit card numbers, they're still viable to be hacked and the information stolen. So for the sake of all our customers, we just explain it that for your safety, you have to enter it every time. I know that's a little inconvenient for people that live in the Amazon world where they just one click and they're gone, but it's for your credit card safety, and most people respect that.
Okay. Okay.
Cool. So we just set up all this location. I know it sounded like a lot because I went through every single field, but it really doesn't take that long to set up a customer. And once you click save, now you go to add their items to their order form. So you got that PDF that has all their cartridges and printers on it. And the reason we want printers instead of cartridges, a lot of people are used to just getting the cartridge from the customer. We want their printer because you can set things up a lot quicker. More things go with a printer than go with a single cartridge. And so if you have the printer model, you're going to be able to add things a lot faster to the order forms, and I'll show you what I mean. Another really great benefit of using EasyOrder is I've personally built this database from the ground up 12 years ago, and we work on it every day and add to it and make it better and make it tighter. But you have every cartridge and every printer that goes with each other in this cross-reference database ready for you to use. So if the
That's really exciting.
Oh yeah, for sure, because that's the worst part of any
Oh
other
my God, yeah.
systems trying to manage the data. And so we try to do all that managing of the data for you so that you don't have to worry about that. You just need to go worry about selling, and that's what we want you to do, not sitting here administrating a database. So the 3 product categories we have, the first thing you select is a product category. We have Reman, which is anything aftermarket, OEM, which is anything brand new, because you're still going to sell some OEM to people every now and again. And then other could be compatibles or whatever you want to use the other for. It's really just a third category. You could even call this like bronze, silver, gold if you wanted to. You could change the names of these. It's all up to you. But mostly people just use Reman and OEM to consider aftermarket and brand new. Notice we also have a custom product category. So if you're going to sell office supplies or if you're going to sell a printer to a customer, you can do that by using the custom product category. You can create whatever product you want and then add it to an order form under the custom products. So you can really sell anything you want to people in EasyOrder. I'm going to select Reman and then the manufacturer. And if you notice, we don't have every manufacturer in the world. We keep it as simple as we can. We really put only the manufacturers that people order product from. And so we're not going to have like 1,000 manufacturers and all this product nobody uses. We just keep it up to date with what's being used and sold in the market. So here we go. We'll start with HP. And here's where you select. You can go by printer or by cartridge. Obviously, by printer, by cartridge, you're just going to go 1 to 1 to 1. So you're going to be adding a cartridge and then another one and then another one. And that's okay. You can do it that way if you only have that information. But we recommend you go by printer because it's a lot easier. Now, I hate drop-downs. Drop-downs annoy me. I hate scrolling through drop-downs to find a product. And so we created like a Google-type search for when you're looking up a product. So if you're looking up, let's say, color LaserJet 2600, you don't need to type in like color LaserJet because we may spell LaserJet different. We may capitalize the J, or you may separate the word, whatever. So instead of typing in all that stuff, just type in the model number that you're looking for. And then you're not going to have to scroll through a big list of stuff. Just what you need is going to come up. Kind of less is more when you're searching for a product. So select the color LaserJet 2600. All the cartridges come up. Notice we have the black, the dual pack, cyan, yellow, magenta, fuser unit, transfer roller, and these are the Xerox branded compatibles for HP that go in that printer. And you can sell anything you want to the customer. So from here, you just select what you want to sell, black, cyan, magenta, yellow. So let's say we'll skip the fuser units and stuff. You can always put a maintenance kit on there if you need to. But for now, we'll just put on the cartridges. You just pop them in. Here are the cartridges. All the data is right there. And here's where you customize it and make it easier. Sue's color laser, and she's in the sales department. So you can customize that. That's where you do that. And then we show the retail price and then your price. So here's another super time saver that we do for you. That's another really big benefit for using us, is that we've built a tool that goes out to Staples' website and kind of crawls it and scrapes it for the most up-to-date retail prices every week. And so if you're looking at a price in EasyOrder that's a retail price and it's for a high commonly sold thing that's sold at Staples, we will have the most up-to-date price. Even if they change it in that week and it goes higher, it will reflect in your EasyOrder account. So you will always not have to worry about, am I looking at the best retail price? Because we're always giving that to you, and it's a weekly change. So if they go up, you go up, and that's just a really helpful tool for you.
Nice.
This is your, yeah, I love that feature. This is your price. Before, when we updated like every quarter, maybe every, half a year, and it was so much easier to just do it this way. This price comes from, I really don't want you to look at these prices too much. I don't want you to think like we're telling you should be selling your products at this price. This price is basically 30% off of this price. And it's when we added it to the system. So these prices can be all over the place as far as what the prices are. So please don't use this as a guide. I would just take your percentage off this price to come up with your price. And then that will be the most handy way. We blanked them all out at one point in time, but people liked at least having the reference there of some sort of 30% off price. And so we put it back on. But we really like to think that there are no pricing in there unless you put it in. And so it's up to you on what you want to price your products. So if you want to come in here and say this one's $60 and then this one is $66, and that's how I'm going to sell. I'm going to have everything be with zeros at the end, which is what a lot of people do. You can do that. And what this does is now set this price for this customer's order form, just for this customer for this product on their order form. If you were to hit save, it would save that without saving it to your master database. If you were to check this global box, though, this globalizes the product so that the next time you pull up the 6000A series, that you will have your prices in here instead of the prices that were defaulted in the system. And it actually shows up highlighted blue if you've globalized it before. So you can instantly look at that product and know that you've priced it before. And there's a little G that shows up next to it showing it's been globalized. So once you have done this, that is now the price in your system for the 6000A. And the next time you pull it up in either a quote or an order form, it'll be blue with the G and it will indicate that it's been globalized. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's great.
Cool. And if you were to change this price, let's say on order form, and you wanted to go, oh, you know what, I need to update everybody. If you were to globalize that as well and save it, anybody with this product on their order form that's unlocked, they will also get the new price. So you can update everybody at once that has this cartridge. And if you notice when you check the global box, the cost and the SKU field open up. The cost just lets you put your cost in there so you know kind of what your bottom of the barrel is. So if you're quoting somebody, you know what not to go under. Some people use that, some people don't. The SKU field is there if you have a unique identifier for a product in your system, if you have a way to identify them. But for you, it may be, I see you may be using this as a vendor code, because I don't know who you're buying products for, and I don't really care. Just we don't sell products. I didn't want to sound like an endorsement for anybody, but a lot of people use these as vendor codes. So, for example, nobody's going to have one vendor that meets the requirements that they need for every product. So most people have multiple vendors, and then they buy the best products from those vendors for their customers. So let's say, for example, Clover had the best 6000A cartridges that you've heard of or seen or had experience with, and you wanted to make it easier for yourself when you get these, you can go CLO as Clover, and then maybe their reorder number, and use that as a SKU, because when these come in, you'll know who you order it from and what the reorder number is, and it could make it easier for you to kind of process these orders. I'm just sharing with you stuff that people have used before that's helped them. You can take it or leave it. You can use this or not, but that's just what some people have used before. I'm not going to globalize this just because I don't want to set any pricing permanent in your system yet. I'm just going to click save, and that's going to save that item to the order form. I'm going to add one more item just so we have a decent looking order form here. HP printers, 8600. We'll do an inkjet. Pop that on. Notice we have the color combo kits. We also have the chipped versions of the cartridge versus the non-chipped versions. The chipped versions will be cartridges that are shipped with an extra chip that when you put it in, the printer recognizes it and can do the ink levels. A lot of times those are more expensive because they come with the chip. So whether you're doing chipped or non-chipped, we just know we have all the products that people need in the system. So I'm going to click save, and we're going to do the chip version of that. Black cyan, magenta yellow. I'm going to call this the color copier, and we're going to leave that in the main department. Prices are fine for this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and save that. So now we have two items on the order form. You can kind of drag and drop items around from the middle if you click and hold and drag. There are a couple ways to edit the order form. If you kind of messed up on a price or something, or you just want to change the price, you can go over to edit and then click on that and go back to that previous screen and change the price and save it. You can delete the item from the order form. Another thing you may want to get into, and I can give you more information on this, but There's something that people are doing in the industry that is causing them to have really good locked-in sales. I know you're not going to have too much of a problem with that, but they do a thing called a no-cost printer lease, and so you can actually you can actually give a printer to the customer, but then they have to sign a thing with you to where they buy the cartridges from it for 2 years. It's kind of the razor and the razor blade kind of thing. And so if you want more information on how to do that, the kind of free printer, but you pay for the cartridges, I can get you information on that. This feature right here is a lease tracker. So if you're giving a printer away for somebody and you want to set that time frame that they want to renew it within 2 years and they have to buy cartridges from you for it for 2 years, this will help you with the lease, and you'll help remember who has a lease, when it's out, and it'll alert you when it's running out. So if you ever want to get into that, let me know and I can give you more information on that. Okay, so that's the order form. This is the back end of the order form, how we see it. Now, once you're done with this, you want to, show the customer how to order from you. So you want to get the information out to the customer. You want to show them how to order from you. And so at this point, you're ready to go, and all you do is click on Send Welcome Email. So that's going to go. It says successfully sent to me, and now I'm the customer over here, and I got an email that says, "Greetings, Kat with ABC Bank. Welcome to EasyOrder. We've created this online tailored order form specifically to your needs. Click here to download your desktop icon." And so as administrator, I'm going to show you a couple of areas on this email that are really important. One, this is what we want them to do. We highlight it in bold. We capitalized it. We want them to click on this no matter what. But as an administrator, I want you to show you a couple more tools we have in this. Check out this quick video on how to download your desktop icon and order from us. My email just moved that to a different folder, so hold on. It loves to think this is spam, but it's not. All right, so here's the welcome email again. This video, how to easily order from us, when they click on it, takes them from this specific email. All right, so today we're going to be talking about turn the volume down on that. So it takes them from this email, and it has my wonderful voice on it, and it takes them through and shows them how to download the icon. It shows them what they may experience when they try to install the icon, and basically how to order after that. So whereas we used to make you explain this kind of to the customer and say, "Okay, customer, this is what I want you to do," and we made you explain it. Now we just give you this video. So all you have to do is say, "Okay, customer, watch this video right here, and then click on this link above, and then follow the instructions that you got in the video." And so they can go step by step, and with the video, it'll teach them how to do it, and customers really don't have a problem after that. So very cool, video for that. You don't have to explain it anymore, and it shows the customer what to do. Also, as an administrator to EasyOrder, we want you to know that we do give them their manual login. This is a hard link to your landing page with EasyOrder, and from there, if they enter their username and password, they can get in with no problem. So 100% get in with that. The ways we do it with the desktop icon, people may have IT security, well, they may get in the way of that, and I'll show you a couple of tricks of how to get around that as well. But if a customer is ever having any issues with the icon, you can always say, "Well, let me send you your welcome email again. Click on this link, put it in your username and password, and you can order right now, no matter what." But what we want them to do is we want them to get the download of the desktop icon, and I'll show you why that's really important here in a minute. So I'm going to click on here, download your desktop icon, just like the customer would, and it takes it to your download page. And if you notice, we're logged in, so I'm actually logged in as the customer right now, and I'm here at this page. There are 2 bookmarks on this page. Obviously, we want them to install this one. It's the biggest. It's the most bold on the page. That's called the logo icon, and it installs your logo in an icon on their desktop. There's also another desktop icon on here. This one is the bookmark icon. And what the bookmark icon does is it's basically, there's no software to install. It gets past any IT department that doesn't want you to install software. I have government institutions that use this that have super high security because it's just a bookmark. It's just like a bookmark you would put on your web browser to a web page that you like. And except for our bookmark contains some login information. And so it's very simple, easy to use. So this one installs a little piece of software that puts your logo on it. And this one is just a bookmark, and those are the 2 icons. We're actually going to make this icon a little more prevalent and kind of bring it up here next to this icon. So we're going to say no software icon and logo icon in a future update. It's just because virus scanners are getting really serious these days and blocking our file. This is the exe file, and so it's an exe file. It's looked at sometimes like a virus, although it's not. You can scan it, and it's perfectly fine. But it's just to put that little logo in there. That's the only reason that we run this one. So I'll show you both. This is the bookmark icon. I'll save it to my desktop here. And this is the logo icon. I'll save that to my desktop as well. So now I've downloaded the desktop icon just like the customer would. I'll come back, I'll close this email. And if you notice now, we have two icons. One says Endless Ink, and the other one will say Endless Ink once it's installed. But right now, if you see, it's an installer file. So it actually has to go through a process. To install the logo icon, all you have to do is click on the icon. Windows is going to pop up a thing just saying we don't recognize the company that this came from. We're an unknown publisher with Microsoft because we're small. And so this will always pop up. It's in the video. It tells them that we're a smaller company. We're not registered with Microsoft as a vendor. And you say run anyway. And then your computer will say, do you want to run this? And you say yes. And then it pops up the install, and then you close it. And it's really painless and easy. And it logs you into your order form as soon as you install it. So without even clicking on it, it takes you to your order form. So now we have these two icons. And I just quickly put together the icon with the feather just to give you something to look at so you can see a customized version of the icon, but we can always change that to anything you want. But it says Endless Ink either way. And so the customer now has this on their desktop. So what's important about this? Why do we do this? Why do we take the time to put this icon on their desktop? Well, one, it's because they're connected to you now in a way that you could never be connected to your customer before. I mean, if you think about it, for a customer to order from you, they have to have your business card around, and they have to keep it around, or they have to keep you in their contacts, so they have to remember your phone number, they have to remember your website, they have to remember your email, they have to get together lists of products that they need to order. They're not familiar with these model numbers and everything. And then they have to call you or email you, and it takes them a while to gather their order. And so it's way different with EasyOrder. You're literally connected to the customer, and they can get to you anytime from their desktop. Another great thing is you're reinforcing yourself as a brand to your customers all the time. If you were to go to your customer and say, hey, I'll tell you what, can I pay you to put my logo on your computer's desktop? They would be like, no way. There's no amount of money you could pay me to put your logo on my computer. That's personal. But with EasyOrder, they do it. And if your Endless Ink is on their desktop and they see that, even through their peripheral vision, if they see it, I don't know, maybe 300-400 times a week as they're just kind of moving things around on their computer and interacting with their computer, you're reinforcing that they order their ink from you, Endless Ink, because they have your icon on their desktop. So it really locks in customer loyalty. And when you see how quickly it takes to place an order, this is where the customer, when you show this to them, the light bulb goes off in their head. They're like, oh my gosh, this is the easiest thing I've ever done. I love this. I'm going to order from you from now on, no matter what. So I'm going to show you real quick. This is what happens. Click on the icon. I got my order. I need a couple cartridges. Basically, I'm going to log me in. I'm ABC Bank. Okay, here. I need a set for my color copier. Not 12. And then I don't need anything for the color laser. I'm going to review my order here. Everything looks good. Oh, look, I'm saving $56 on my order today. That's awesome. Well, everything looks good. I'll send that. And they're done. All they have to do is click submit order, and then they get order confirmation. So you saw that the customer was able to order within about 30 seconds, and get off and go on about their day. Most likely the people ordering toner cartridges and ink cartridges, that's not their only job. And so if you make it so quick and easy for them that they just can order really quick and get off, and it's easy, and they get a professional confirmation of their order. Let me go check for that. See if it moved it under the later. Yep. So this is what you'll get and the customer will get. So here is the confirmation email. This is from ABC Bank. This is the order was just placed. You get a time and date stamp so you know when your customer ordered it. Obviously your logo and contact information shows up here. It looks really professional. The bill to and the ship to is here. All your products listed are here. You get the total, you get how much the customer saved. And another really great feature that we have is if you are shipping, a lot of people drop ship these days. And so if you're drop shipping to customers, if they have this, when they get the products in, they know what goes back to what printer. A lot of times, if people get ink and toner at a place and it's not the person who's ordering that received it, sometimes it gets put in a like a cupboard or somewhere where they keep all that stuff, and it's not delivered to the person, and because they don't know where it goes. And so with our delivery by department, it knows the color copier in the main department, the OfficeJet Pro needed a set of these, and so you can get it right to the person who needs it. If this was for Sue's printer, it would say Sue's printer on there, and you could get it to Sue. So the delivery department is really helpful for the customer because it shows them exactly what to do. Also, for record keeping, notice we do also send a PDF of the order. So if somebody wanted to keep this other than an email, maybe keep it in a folder of all their orders, they can do that as well. We also save order history in the system, so you can also look at previous orders as you're ordering. So you saw there that, I mean, it was so quick to just click on the icon and you're instantly back to the order form. It opens up the web browser, username and passwords you don't have to remember. They're just right to their custom list of printers and cartridges. They don't have to do anything. And I'll tell you what, when you present the customer this and you show them this customized ordering experience, they think you're awesome because you basically done all the stuff that everyone makes them do, and you've done it for them. And so again, when I stress this, this is really like a VIP service. You know, when I talk to people, I tell them to talk about EasyOrder as a premium service that you provide for free. And that's because it is a premium service. This is something that they're not getting elsewhere. You're wanting to take care of the customer, and so, you know, present it like that. We have a premium service, online ordering system. It's customized totally to you. It's free. How can I set you up on it? You know, and they'll be really curious about it and really anxious to try it out and set it up. The bookmark icon, just to show you the difference between the two. Obviously, this one looks better, has more brand, you know, awareness for your brand. This will look like whatever browser they're using. So if they're using Internet Explorer or Firefox or Chrome, which is what I'm using, it'll look like whatever they're using, but it does the same thing. You click on it, it gets it right to their order form. So whether or not, if they have troubles downloading and installing this one, I recommend you have them install the bookmark. The bookmark will get past, like I said, any IT guys that don't want you to install software or anything. You just have it right there. So any questions on that part? Because that's really the most important part of EasyOrder, is understanding how to get that icon on the customer's desktop, how to explain to them how to order from you, and then the order process.
I do have a couple questions.
Sure.
On whenever, say for example, my schools, who's going to have the icon on their desktop? Like, say each teacher, you know, has their own. I mean, then it goes up to the person who's ordering. How do you filter that and then it going to central office? Like, if there's 3 people, or does it still just need to get to that one person who's doing the order, and they will have this icon who's doing the order itself?
It really is up to how the customer wants to order. If they want the physical teacher to place an order and have that go to someone that's in purchasing, and then they can kind of gather all the orders and then send that up to someone higher than that to finally approve everything, we have a way for you to do that. If you want the teachers to tell the person who's purchasing what they need, and then that person have one icon on their desktop, and then they place an order for everybody at once, and then that goes up to somebody to approve, we have a way for you to do that. So it really just depends on how the customer wants to order, and then we have a solution for that no matter what it is. And so I'll show you that real quick, just so you can see. When you under manage customers, you have a thing called purchasers. And so you can come in here and add a new purchaser and basically give them a username. So I usually go ABCCP for central purchaser. And then you put in like their name and their email address. I'll do support. Oh, it doesn't really matter, reman.com. And then so you can enable them for all the locations. So if you have multiple locations, you'll see them all here. And then if you want this person to have an approval, you say level 1. And then when you save this, anybody with icons that order from this company, it will come to this purchaser as a level 1 approver. And this person will have to approve each order before it's sent to you as finally approved.
Okay, nice. Okay, yeah, that's because some of my clients are like that,
Yeah.
where
And
it goes through a few people.
And then if it goes to another person, you basically just go here and add another one. We call this cat 2 and cat, and then blah. And then you can go enable level 2 approval. And then when you do that, let's say the email's not valid. Hold on. I need a .com in there. Email.com. Email at email, whatever.com. The way this is set up now, this person would be the first person who gets copied for approving.
Mm-hmm.
And then once this person approves, it goes up to this person. And then that person has to approve. And then if that person's final in the chain, once this person is approved, it trickles down and tells this person it's been approved. And then each location that's ordering on their own will also get a note saying it's approved. You get a notification from the very first time anybody places an order that an order's been placed. So you'll see the chain of approval and ordering and everything, because you probably need a heads up that they're looking to order all these products, but then you don't, purchase them until you get the final approval from this person.
And where does the client put in the purchase order number?
It's right here. When you look at an order form, it's right at the review order page. So I'll go here and we'll view the thing, and you put a quantity in here and you review order. The PO number's right here.
Okay.
Then give you special instructions with that, like, deliver to Gary at the back gate or whatever. And that'll show up on here. And then if you had credit card processing, over here is where they would input their credit card.
Okay. And you also said that whenever you're setting pricing, you can globalize it, but anything that's locked will stay the prices that you have set. How do you lock prices on a client?
Absolutely. So when you go back here, and we'll go to manage customers, and then we'll go to order forms, and then you click on the location name, because that's where all that information is stored. And you can go down here. Oh, no, sorry. Let me go back. It's under customer. It's by customer. So you click on the customer name. Let me start over. Manage customers. Click on the customer name, and then it's right here.
What prices? Okay. Okay, perfect.
And I'm recording this video, so you'll be able to go back and refer to any of these questions and stuff later on.
Okay.
But it's really handy.
And also,
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's see, what was I going to ask you? Oh, on a quote, have you haven't went over the quotes yet, have you?
Yeah, that's my next thing.
Okay.
You ready for that?
Ready.
On the orders?
unless
can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you, on the orders? Can you customize the URL? Like, can you use like a CNAME or anything like that to customize the URL?
Well, we use RemanResource.com as kind of a generic URL that anybody can use, and it's not necessarily brand centric. So we use Cartridge Reorder as kind of our main URL. I don't suggest putting iframes or anything like that over our thing to mask the URL. It's just, you can tell people that that's your URL. You have CartridgeReorder.com. That's what you use. And, you can have your own website at endless.inc, and that's fine. But when you're interacting with EasyOrder, you're going to have CartridgeReorder.com. Actually, emails that are generated from the system, they have to come from CartridgeReorder.com. You have your own specific email account with us that we send out orders through. We copy you at your Endless Inc. email address. We CC you on that, so it still seems like it comes from you. But everything has to come from us, from our URL, because if you start masking the URL, spam kicks a lot of emails out. We can get blacklisted as spammers, stuff like that. So we kind of picked a generic URL, CartridgeReorder.com, and everybody can use that as kind of their URL. And then if you ever have to interact with your site, some parts of it will say Cartridge Reorder, some will say your URL.
Okay, so then the email then is coming from Cartridge Reorder then?
It will come from you guys. It will look like it comes from you guys. It will really come from, something like some number at CartridgeReorder.com. Your main emails are copied on there, and so it looks like it comes from you. They don't recognize the cartridge reorder email, but they'll recognize yours.
But in the from field, it'll have, in the from field, what will it have?
I'll show you. Hold on.
In the,
see how it says that? That's the from field. That's your, see, okay, so that's where it's from. This is your email with us. So it still says.
So then if someone replies to that, where does it go?
It goes to you. And we do have to have this because let's say, for example, this was spelled wrong and somebody, or you got a bounce back. If we didn't have your own email, there'd be nothing for the bounce back to come to. And so if anything comes to this email address, we forward it to this email address. So if you get the customer email wrong when you put in the customer's email and then you send the order out and it bounces back, if we didn't have this email in place, you would never see that. And so because we have this in place, it
right. Well, that's what I didn't know if you guys spoofed the email, like send it from, because you could send it from, have your SMTP server send it from Tiffany at Endless Ink or Endless.ink, whatever. You can have it send it that way. But if you do, then we just have to make entries that lets email servers know that your IP is approved IP to send for our domain, so that way it doesn't get flagged as spam and stuff. So
yeah,
that's why I didn't know how that would send.
Absolutely, and this way, this is a solution that works kind of for everybody. We have to think about everybody, our hundreds of customers that are either cartridge worlds or guys like you know, are independent. And so this solution kind of works for everybody. And a lot of people don't know how to forward their servers to approved, you know, we're whitelisted on their server, things like that.
Yeah.
So this kind of solution works for everybody. And honestly, if I looked at this email, it looks like it's coming from Endless Ink. It's coming from Tiffany, you know, and unless I highlighted over this weird email address, I wouldn't know that that email even existed. We used to actually send it from your email address, and we would, you know, cloak it as the email and kind of try to hide the identity. And as the servers changed over the years, they were like, no to that. So we had to come up with this solution.
Okay.
Cool. And so now, if we don't have more questions, I'll go over quotes. Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So the second part, I mean, obviously the first part is getting your customers on and ordering. And I suggest you take your kind of, you said you have a lot of customers that order from you right now. I would take your best customers that you know and love and, you know, set them up and you know they're going to order from you no matter what you do. And just say, hey, I'm trying this thing out. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know. But we're, you know, I think this is going to be where we're going to order from now on. And set up, I'd say, you know, 5 or 10 of your best customers this week and get it in their hands, get them to play with it and everything. But the other part of the equation is quotes. So managing quotes is just like creating order forms. We wanted to keep it as simple as possible. But with a quote, you may not have the time to get people's info like you would if they're your established customer and they want to order from you. A lot of times you go into a business and you talk to them and they may give you your business card. You may, you know, jot down a couple of their printers that you can get, and they give you an opportunity to quote. So tip 1 for quoting, and this may sound like normal stuff to you or maybe new information, but I talk to a lot of people and they're like, well, when I got back to the customer 3 or 4 days later with the quote, they weren't interested. And I was like, well, why did you wait so long? The first person to respond, or the quicker you respond to a quote or request for quote, the more likely you are to get the business. And so don't wait when you have a chance to get a quote to respond to it immediately. I would say if you have a chance to respond within the same day, that's the best way to do a quote as far as getting a response from it. And with EasyOrder, you can really do that because, you know, the worst part of my day when I was doing marketing back in the day, I would cold call people, do that all day, come back to the office, create a bunch of quotes, and I would do it in Excel, and I'd have to look up all the prices, and it just took forever, and it was a big pain. But with EasyOrder, it's not like that. You come in here, and you can quickly send quotes. So the delay time for sending quotes should be not, you know, within the same day for sure, if you can. And so all you have to use for EasyOrder for quote is company name, contact name, and I say email. It's not required, but I definitely say email is a big part of it. So I'm going to call this Cats Co. And I'll put my email address in here. I erased the subject, but that's okay. quote. Okay, so that's all you have to put in here to start a quote. All you have to do is add items in. These are just kind of settings on how the quote shows up, but it's really just kind of, do you want to show the retail prices? Do you want to show yields? All that stuff is just kind of normal. So I'm going to add an item just like before. It's the same engine, so you just basically pick what you want. I even have the same printer. Color LaserJet 2600, and then we'll pick the cartridges, price it out how you want it, save that, and then now you have an item on a quote. So there's two versions of the quote, and this is where you control that. You can either have a simple quote. If you do that, it looks like this. It's very clean, it's very printable, it's very handleable to somebody. Not a lot of ink is used because of there's not a lot of graphics in it. It's very simple, easy to use quote. The newest quote though is the advanced quote template, and so you can set that as your default if you want to later. And I just think it looks better, and if you're emailing the quote, which is how I suggest you interact with the quote with people, then it looks better anyway. So use the advanced quote template if you want to. It also gives you this annual orders field. So let's say they order 4 times a year. You can actually extrapolate those numbers of their savings into a much larger number and show them a bigger picture of what they really could be saving by ordering from you. So you can put that on there. And so as I preview this quote, this is the advanced quote, and it'll have your header here. It'll have, you know, the date, the company name, all this stuff. All the cartridges here, I think it looks a little cleaner. And then it has some more graphics down here at the bottom. These are actually customizable as well. If you don't like these graphics, you can send me graphics and I can change your theme to have whatever graphics you want down here. So as you're showing this to the customer, we show the printer on the advanced quote, the cartridge model number, the type, retail price, your price, how much they're going to save on each cartridge. If they order everything today, this is what they're going to save. And this is based off 4 orders per year. Their annual savings is going to be this much larger number, which they're going to be excited about because they want to see that extrapolated out, and it gives them a bigger picture of what they will be saving over the course of a year. So those are the two versions of the quote. Now, what sets our quote system apart from anything else is the thing I'm about to tell you. And this is really one of the most important things that I really stress that you do when you quote, because it's just changed the conversion rates of quotes extremely when people use it like this. So let's pretend that you're my customer and I'm you and I'm selling this product. And let's say I do this quote for you, and then instead of just emailing it off and hoping you read it, I'm going to set up a time with you that I'm going to call you back and I'm going to present the quote to you. And so you tell them, okay, I'm going to call you on 10 o'clock on Monday and we'll talk about your quote I prepared for you. And they go, okay, and then you call them at 10 and make sure you send it right before you call so it's fresh in their inbox and it's not buried under a bunch of emails from the weekend. And you basically say, okay, I just sent the quote to you. Did you get it? Yep, I got it. Okay, so now I want to go over it with you. We have a 100% guarantee. We're going to save you a lot of money. Here are the cartridges right here. This is for your 2600. The retail price is $102.99. We're going to give it to you for $59.49. You're going to save $43 per cartridge, $48 on the color. So if you bought it all today, you're going to get $188 in savings from buying it brand new. And then if you bought this 4 times a year for this one printer, we can save you $700 in a year. And they're going to go, wow, that's great. And that's usually the normal quote process, right? And at the end of that quote process, back when I was quoting, I used to just say, okay, well, here's my business card. Well, call me if you need anything. And the call me if you need anything is kind of the worst thing you can say to a customer at the end of a sales call, because you're putting the ball in the customer's hands, again, which is what people do, it's a mistake, to remember to call you when they need something. They have to keep your card around. They have to keep your quote in their email. They have to be able to find it again. And so telling your customer, call me if you need anything, is the worst thing you can possibly do at the end of a quote. So what we do in the EasyOrder way is completely different from that. And I don't like, there's another school of thought where people say, well, ask for the sale. And I hate it at the end of sales calls where I would sit there and go, okay, do you need anything right now? And I feel like that's kind of a used car salesperson kind of tactic. It's kind of like beating them over the head to, it's kind of pushy, and then they get turned off by that and not want to do business with you because you were maybe too pushy. And so with EasyOrder, we don't want to do any of that. Basically, at the end of this, you go, okay, we'll save you $752.40 per year if you order these cartridges 4 times. Now, let me show you how to order from us. That's all you tell them at the end. You go, let me show you how to order from us. That's not invasive. It's not intrusive. It's very friendly. You're just saying, hey, when you're ready to order, let me show you how it works with us. And what you do is you tell them this right here. Don't forget you can place an order right from this quote. Click Show Order Form to create your online order form. So when they click on this button, it's a PDF that they've opened it up. It's a PDF. They're looking at it. It's flat. It's not on the internet. They click this link, and it instantly takes this quote that you're looking at, and basically they go from here to this, and they're looking at this now. So they went from a quote, so now they're looking at a working order form that's in their name, that has their printer cartridges with it, and they can order directly from that quote. It's created their online account. It's converted that quote into an order. And you just go, okay, when you're ready to order next time, you just put quantities next to the items that you need. You can even do that right now if you want to just try it out, and click on Review Order at the top of the page. And I'm logged in as you guys, so it didn't move on from there. But then it could take them to the review order page, and then it would allow them to order. You could even place a fake order with them if you want to the first time, just to kind of show them how it is. And once the customer sees that, they're like, whoa, you just had a quote and now have an order form, and now you're kind of walking them down the path of the order process without them even knowing it. So when they click on this Show Order Form button, a welcome email is dispatched to them just like you would have sent it to them yourself if you created the order form. So now you can say, okay, now that you can see your order form and you know how to order from us, you just got a welcome email as you click that button. A welcome email is sent to you. You probably have it in your inbox right now. And if you click on that, there's a video that you watch, and it shows you how to download a desktop icon that goes on your desktop. So when you want to get back to this quote, all you have to do is install that icon, has our logo on it, and you click on it. You don't have to remember a username, a password, my phone number, my email address, anything. Just click on that icon when you're ready to order, and you can place an order with us. And so by taking the customer down that path, it's not intrusive, it's not hitting them over the head, it's not used car salesman-y, but what you've done by the end of that call, if you did it right, was you got them to have an order form with you, you got to show them how you take orders, and now you're linked to that customer with the icon that's sitting on their desktop. So now they have this, so the next time they need your quote, they don't have to worry about, oh, where'd that email go, or how do I search for that, or where's her business card? They just click on their icon and they can order just like everybody else. And so now you've taken a customer from a quote perspective, and you've completely taken them through, and now they can order from you and they know how to order from you. That's the most powerful position you can leave yourself in as a salesperson at the end of a quote, because you've done everything you can. If they don't order from you now, it's not your fault. You know, you've provided them everything they need to do. And honestly, when the customer sees that you have this kind of technology at your, you know, as your back end, they're very impressed by it, and it looks like you mean business and have a system that can handle them, and there's no questions. You know, it's very impressive to a potential customer. So isn't that awesome?
Yeah, that is really awesome. I do have one question.
Sure.
How does it look in their email whenever you send the quote? Like, what is the subject line, and what is it looking like in their inbox before they open it?
Okay, I can send one. Hold on. Let me see. I'm previewing. I'm logged into like everything, so the system's really confused right now. Hold on, let me. A lot of times, if you're doing the customer and the administrator at the same time, it needs like a new session. So hold on, let me kill everything here. Okay, so quotes, and then here's the quote, and I'm just going to mail the quote. Okay, so it's been sent. Turns green when it's been sent. It goes from blue to green. That's a status. I'll talk to you about statuses here in just a second. But let me look at my inbox. Okay, so I changed the subject line accidentally as I was setting that up. So it's going to say my stupid subject line, but it'd normally say, quote. This is what it looks like. We have to send it as an attachment as a PDF. One, because of the functionality of how you can click on it and turn it into an order form. And so it would have your normal subject line, which you can customize to whatever you want to here. And it says, this is from us, attached is your quote, thank you. And then when they open it up, this is their quote. Looks just like that. And this is, and if you watch my mouse, it changes to, once my PDF loader loads, it changes to a little hand, which shows that I can click on that and then convert that to an order form. There it is. If I click on that now, it's going to open up that URL and it's going to log them into their order form. It's going to create the order form for them. And so it looks just like
Perfect.
this. Yeah. And so, you know, having a system like this is really going to help you streamline everything. I don't know how you kind of keep track of your orders now, but everything will be in here. It'll be really easy to find. You can run reports on things. Once you get a lot of history in here, it'll be really good for you. Just so you know, on the statuses for the quotes, your quotes can have different statuses. We're definitely not a CRM by any means, but we do give you ways to kind of help you manage orders and quotes. From statuses, you can change the quotes to different statuses. So if you need to follow up with this customer that you quoted, you can put it in follow-up mode, and then it'll change to the follow-up status. The 0 will tell you the number of days it's been in that status. So if it's, you know, if the customer's aging in the quote, you can tell if that quote, the customer's been quoted 30 days ago. You'll see how long it's been in that status. We also have a progression that goes through, and you can change these to whatever you want to. So this is the status that we're talking about. This is what happens next, and this is how many days it takes for that to happen. And you can control all this. So if you notice, when I sent the quote, it went from not sent to sent, and so it turned green. And then if we were to wait 3 days, it would change to follow-up within 3 days. And then follow-up will change to gone cold within 30 days, and gone cold will go to an active within 60 days. And so if you click on this, you can change the number of days to whatever you want. You can change the color, you can change the title. We give you a way, kind of a status way for the system to help you by moving it into those different states. If something's going stale, you know, you can really dial in when you feel like something's gone stale. If it's 30 days for you and 60 days for it to go inactive, that's fine. If it's 10 days for it to go stale and 15 days for it to go inactive, that's fine. You know, whatever you want to add, you can do that there. So that is the quotes. Now about these two things, orders and quotes. I mentioned that we have front-facing online tools that you can use for your customers. So if you end up getting a website that you want to put up at Endless Inc. Or endless.inc, whatever the URL is, you have features that you can use with EasyOrder that interact with front-facing websites. All of this stuff here has been behind the scenes and just with your customer. But let's say you get a little splash page up, you know, at endless.inc, and you have some buttons here up at the top. You can put a button called Request a Quote and another one called, you know, My Account or Login. And basically, you have these two pages, okay? These are front-facing pages. And again, we're always going to be at cartridgereorder.com. That's just our URL. And this is your page for us, so user/endless-inc. So what this is a way, and you can do this, let's say you're doing social media. You can go, hey, everybody, follow me. If you want to get a quote from us, go here. And you put this link, and then people can go request a quote that you don't even know. Run a Facebook ad, let it go to people in your community, and get some new leads that way. The other thing you can do is if you have a newsletter and you have an established base of customers, you know, and you want them to maybe see if they want a quote or, you know, need to get a quote, you can do that. If you want to take your list of established customers, this is the other page. It's the login and sign up page. This page, they can watch the demo video. Returning customers can log in here. This is where that welcome email points them to, where they can log in. Or if the customer just wants to get ready and just sign up for online ordering for themselves and not talk to you and just set it up a whole account, they can do that as well. Now, while these two things are not, I don't want to get people distracted and make you think like, well, I'm just going to tell everybody to sign up here. That's not the goal of EasyOrder. The goal of EasyOrder is still be a VIP service, to still do the work for the customer so that, you know, they'll order from you. But if you want to get people started and you send people to this link, which is the sign up, they can go ahead and start creating their account right away. And so they can do the work themselves if you want them to. It's up to you on how you use it. But these two pages are very handy in promoting your business and promoting your EasyOrder. The demo video shows them the demo video that I'm sure you've seen. If not, It's this professionally voiced over.
Thanks for taking the time to watch this quick demo.
Loud.
EasyOrder, our online ordering system. We know you're busy and your time is valuable.
And it just takes them through the desktop icon and how to order, and so this demo video will really help you out. Just so you guys know, and you may want to jot this down, that demo video is at cartridgereorder.com/demo. That you can put, I've seen people put it in their email signature. We have easy online ordering. We have free easy online ordering. Ask me how to get, started. And then you can put a link to that demo video and they can see it and they go, wow, I want to do that. And then they can, work with you with that. So as the customer comes in here, one thing I want to notate about this page, this is a lead capture system. So this is another big marketing thing for you. It's a lead capture system. So when people come here, we want this to be a way, because the customer's not always going to follow through with a quote, but if they fill out this first part, we make it seem really like not a lot of information to fill out. Just fill out this little bit of information. I'm going to call this Bob at Bob Co. And this is Bob at Bob.com. And the phone number is this. When they click Get Started, it takes them to where they can add items by printer or by cartridge. They can add their printers. They can request a quote from you based off the printers they select. It's the same engine that we use with EasyOrder. So they just type in what they're looking for. They find the printer. They add it to the quote. They send it through to you. And if you notice, some people, and we call it a bail rate, some people will, at this point, they will not complete the quote because they are busy. They don't know all their printers. They don't have it all ready by the time they get here. They may have to go to lunch. Whatever it is, some people may not fill this out, but they may do the first part and click Get Started. And so if you notice what happened with EasyOrder, when they click Get Started, we now have Bob's quote just sitting in your quotes. And you never initiated that at all. And if you notice over here, there's a checkbox that says it was generated by the user. And so this indicates that this was done online. And so, boom, that's a hot lead coming right into your quote system from online. And so if you click on this, and if you notice that they haven't filled out, there's no cartridges associated with it, you'll get this from time to time. You will get their company name, their contact name, their phone number, their email address. And you can, this is a warm lead. This is somebody who came here, interacted with that, gave you their contact information. So even if they don't fill it out, you can contact them at this point and go, hey, Bob, thanks for trying out our quote thing. I'm not, for whatever reason you didn't finish it, I'd love to help you finish the quote. I saw you got started. So if you just give me your printer info, I'll go ahead and create the quote for you. I'll send it back and get you going. So it's a lead capture system. It's a way for you to throw a big net out, try to get somebody, who you never really talked to before to interact with this. And when they do, it's a warm lead. You're not calling somebody that, it's not like a cold call. You're calling somebody that has is giving you their contact information. So it's much easier to call them back and chat with them because it's a warm lead. So some quotes will come through with, items on them. Some quotes will come through blank. Some quotes may come through with gibberish. Is everybody still here? It's showing me that I'm having internet issues.
Yeah, you cut out for a minute, but I can hear you now.
Okay. Just let me know if that happens again. It just said internet is unstable. I have construction crews all around my neighborhood here, so who knows what they're doing. So did that make sense about how you can go from, your online pages to work right with your EasyOrder account? Does that all make sense?
Yes. How about, what if I have someone who sells for me who wants to do like a request a quote type thing? Is there a way to set that up so they can do that as well with their,
Well, basically what would happen is they would send that same link. And then as you guys are noticing that quotes are coming in, you would basically just tag your sales rep to that customer. There's no way that we don't have a link that also indicates sales rep. It's something we could add down the road, but as of now, it would be like a query that we would put at the end of this. It would basically be like cartridge order /quote query sales rep, and then it would, essentially when the quote came in, it would be under that sales rep. But we don't have that functionality right now. They would have to send out the basic info, and then whatever came from that, you can tag to the sales reps or not.
Okay.
Yeah. But that is a good point, and I will put that in as a suggestion. So let me write that down real quick. Quote sales rep. Because I know we've done things before with referrals where we've given people a specific link that are selling EasyOrder for us, and anything that comes through that link, we credit them for that sale. So I know what you're talking about. Okay, so any questions about this online pieces, these two things, the request a quote and the login? Nope. Okay. One thing that I want you to know about this, we're going to talk about pricing now, because it's really important, one, to get in here and start pricing your products. Just because as you pull up quotes and you have other people working for you, it's much easier if everything's kind of priced out. So I'm going to show you a couple ways to do pricing. One, you can do it globally as you set people up, which is how I recommend people do it first. Just start setting up order forms for people and globalizing those products as you put them on order forms. That's the easiest way to get in here and start doing stuff that matters. Stuff that people are going to order, stuff your people are ordering right now. You can get in there and just price that globally, and you can start kind of slowly pricing your products as you add people into the system. The other way you can do it is you can go into manage your products and pricing, and you can either click add, and let's say you're going to add a specific product. Let's see, it's you're going to go search for Q2612A. And that pops up, and we have the Reman, the Micker, the Jumbo, all that. You can select all these and save it, and you could come here and price these items out. And then when you hit save, it's just like globalizing the item, because now you're in the permanent pricing section. And so when you save it, you're essentially globalizing it. So if you're to pull up these 12A cartridges again, it would be your price and not whatever we have in there. That's the kind of one way to do it, and that's a one-off way. The other thing you can do is, and I'm more of a spreadsheet type person. I can take a spreadsheet and work with it for hours, and then have a good feeling of what I'm doing. So if you want to export your spreadsheet of our products, you just select the product type, Reman Laser, export. It takes a minute because there's a lot of products. And so from here, you just open up the spreadsheet, and this is for the laser products. Come on, Excel. It goes opened up over here in my other monitor. So this is our product list. This is every product we have in our system. So if you can tell, there's a bunch. And so what you can do here is you want to look at the row 1. This is a row, you don't want to change anything. You don't want to remove this row. Keep row 1 intact. But as you're going through here, it has manufacturer, model number. Box name is what we consider a secondary descriptor for the product. So other than this model number, it's another way to identify the product. And so, for example, HP will be like Q2612A, and the box name will just be 12A. We got it from kind of what usually goes on the box to identify the product. Retail prices here, you don't really want to ever use the retail price field or change it unless you highly disagree with our price, just because once you take over the retail price, if you were to put like $99.99 in here and save that and import it in your system, once you change the retail price, it's your price. We don't touch it again. And so if that item goes up in price and we do that in the system, you won't benefit from that update because you've taken over that price. So I suggest you just kind of leave the retail price alone. Reman price, though, is where you're gonna put your prices. So if you come in here and you're looking for this TN 9500 and you're like $49.99, you can put that there. It also goes into OEM. So if you did have an OEM price, you could come down here and say my OEM is $69.99 and save it like that. It goes through all the way from compatible price, and then there's a description field down here. So if you really wanted to customize a description for a product, you would just change it here, and you would take over the description for this, brother, big toner, or whatever. Again, not really a lot of people do that, but some people are very meticulous about their products, and then they change the descriptions. So once you were to save this, and I would save it in the same file format that it's in, don't change the file format to like an Excel workbook. Keep it this comma delimited because that's database language. And save it, and then basically you can come back to our system and import, and then choose your file, and then import, and it will import in to the system. And you can change hundreds of prices at one time that way. And that way you're working with a spreadsheet, and maybe it's a little bit easier to think about when you work with a spreadsheet. I know for me, it's a lot easier to think about a spreadsheet than trying to find products that are just being added to the system and searching for them. But whether you want to do spreadsheet or add by products or do it while you're adding order forms and globalizing, those are 3 different ways that you can price your products in our system. The reason it's important to price the products in the system is 1, so it's easier for you, so you're not looking at prices every time you try to do something, and you can just trust in your system that your prices are there. 2, when you're dealing with people coming from online, there are going to be times because they're going to just input whatever they need, and you may have never priced that item before in your system. So where this gets not tricky, but where it gets, where we have some solutions for this, is that if a customer puts in an item that you've never priced before and it's on a quote, or they add their own item to their order form and it's not been priced for you, they don't get to order it right away because we're never going to show them a price that you've not okayed, that you've not checked off on. And so when they get to one of those items and it's not priced in your system, they will get, instead of a price, it will say checking for price. And they will not be able to order it. They will not be able to put a quantity next to it. It'll just say checking for price. You then get a notification in your to-do list, which I'll show you in just a minute, that an item has been added to the order form that's not been priced. In fact, I'll see if I can do that right now. 4,200. Because nothing is priced right now, so it'll give you that. So the customer adds items to the quote, and then they send the quote to you, and then thank you for your quote, and that's what they get. Okay, so you here back at the ranch, you get, I'll go to the quotes again. You get the quote, and inside the quote, there's items added to it, and you notice there's no price, right? Because you've never priced that item before. And we highlighted in red, showing, because if a customer had items on their order form, let's say they bought a new printer and they added that printer to the order form themselves, we highlight red so that you can tell which one it is amongst their whole list. And so you would just edit this item and then change the prices and then send the quote back to them so that they have a final priced item on their order form. So that's how basically you do that. And then you get a notification. I'll show you. This is your to-do list part of EasyOrder. This is where everything that's going on in your system will live. We recommend that you check this at least twice a day, once in the morning, once kind of in the afternoon. So if orders come in, you'll be able to see it. If notifications come in, you'll be able to deal with those. The one thing I can't do as a developer is control your email. Your email could be, your server could be worked on. It could have latency. The internet has latency all the time. Have you ever sent an email to somebody at 11 a.m. and they get it at like 5 p.m.? These are the things that I can't control as a software developer. So what I can control is to have a place where you can in real time go in and see like what's been going on in your system. And so whether it's an order received, whether it's an item on the to-do list that needs to be checked, pricing in this, because I opened this already, it thinks I already know about it. But whether it's pricing that needs to be fixed, you would get a notification of this, and you could come back in and then put in, your pricing for this stuff. And you could even globalize it at this point. So the next time somebody looks for that, it's there, and you set your pricing. So that's one way that it works from coming online from these types of scenarios where you're getting a quote or somebody's adding things to their own order form. The only time they'll ever get checking for price is if they do it on their own from the internet, or if they have an order form and they're adding an item to it that they maybe just bought a printer, they added that to their order form on their own, and you can determine whether or not they're allowed to do that. Then they can get that checking for price. So what if you don't want to deal with that? What if you don't want to deal with always looking for prices that are coming in from the internet? We've created a solution, and this is what I would use if I was still had a business selling ink and toner. we basically, under managed product data, we have 3 things that deal with only the online piece. So these 3 things: set pricing by percentage, manage availability, they only deal with people coming from online or adding things to their own order form. So what you can do here is you can go set pricing by percentage, and you can say, okay, for anybody coming from online, you can be very specific with it and get into brands. HP, laser, I want them to get 30% off. Or you can be more generic and say, I want any manufacturer of laser cartridges to come in and get 25% off. So anybody coming from these pages, regardless of whether you've priced the item or not, they're going to get the price that you put in the percentage. So 25% off retail price, it's going to show them their price. They're going to be able to take that quote, convert it to an order form, and then they're going to be able to order directly from that quote. So if you want a kind of closed loop system to where they can, without talking to you, get a quote, get a price that's within your margins, and then be able to order that product immediately, you would turn this pricing by percentage on, and that way you don't have to worry about it. We all know that there's good margins in cartridges. If you set it 30% off, you should be fine no matter what the sale is. Now, here's a technique that I'll share with you that other people do, and it really works, and it's up to you again on, you may not need to be this competitive with how you quote based off the business that you have, but this is something that works for a lot of people using this, and so I'll share it with you. A lot of people will come in here and put 25% off instead of the 30. So one, when people come from online, they're getting a good price, they're getting 25% off. It's a little higher than you would normally charge for it, but they're getting a quote, they're able to get a price, they're able to order it. If they order it at 25% off, that's fine. You made 5% more than you normally would. But in that process, you can see the quote come in, and if they haven't ordered yet, and which most of the time they're not going to order from the minute they get the quote, you see the quote come in, you can respond to them and say, hey, I'm calling you up because I just got notification that you got a quote from our online system. That's awesome. We just want to introduce myself to you. But the quote that you got is an online quote. And so that's not really our best pricing. So I'll tell you what, let me go back to your quote. Let me see if I can do something better for you. And you set their quote to 30% off and change the prices to 30% off rather than 25. And they think you are like their best friend. They're like, oh my gosh, this person called me from this company. They must really want my business. And what you're basically doing is setting your prices 5% higher so you can take them back down to your regular price. It's done in retail all over the place. If you go to Kohl's, they're like, oh, it's $25 now, but it used to be $50. You're like, well, I'm saving 50% off. But what they really did is just inflated the cost and then raised it back down to the normal price. And you can do the same tactic with cartridges. So if you want to do that, that's fine. If you don't want to do that and just leave it at your lowest price, you can. If you don't even want to do any of this and price things out as they come in to make sure you have the best price for every single customer, you can do that too. These are just all the tools and tips and tricks that we have for you to market your business. So any question about the pricing by percentage? Only for the online people.
Yeah.
Okay. Did that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Cool. Okay, so that's pricing by percentage. The other thing that you want to deal with is sometimes maybe you don't sell a particular product. And if you don't sell a product, you don't want your customer to search for it, right? Why have them search for a product that you don't sell? So you can manage availability by either manufacturer or by product. So if you want to come in here and say, okay, look, I don't sell Guest Tetner. I don't even know where to get it. I don't ever want to have them search for it. You can disable Guest Tetner. And so online, when a customer is searching for that, Guest Tetner won't even come up. So if you want to disable product, you can do that for yourself and then for your customer so they don't have to see anything you don't want them to see. Another area is doing it by product. And so, for example, remember earlier when I was putting that product on the order form, it basically had some Xerox branded compatibles that went with the HP. And so that could be kind of confusing sometimes for the customer. And so if you want to, let's say you wanted to disable all the Xerox in the HP category, you'd select HP, type in Xerox, hit go, and then you can come down here, and these are all, they're HP products, but they're under the Xerox. They're Xerox basically products that go in HP. So you can select all of those, hit disable, and I usually do this for everybody anyway because nobody wants to see Xerox products in their HP for their customers. Select all these, go down, and then just disable. And then last page, select all these and disable. So what I've done is I've disabled all the Xerox products for showing up in an HP search for your customers. So then we'll get confused by seeing HP as a selection in Xerox, or Xerox as a selection in HP. So does that make sense how you can disable whole groups of products and also individual products?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool. And you can do things like color combos, like if you don't sell combos or anything like that, you can disable any product you want. You just have to kind of search for it and then you disable it. Another handy thing to have open, a lot of people have this open if you, I know you don't have a physical storefront, but if you're working during the day and you're at your desk and people are calling you, this is kind of handy to have open. It's just basically a database search. So if you want to look up, somebody goes, hey, I have a HP LaserJet, da 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 da. You can type in the printer and it'll show you what cartridges go with it. And if you have your products priced, it'll even show your price with it. So it's a great way for you to just kind of search the database without having to start a quote or create an order form. You can just kind of search the database with a quick product lookup. Custom products is where I was showing you could make custom products that aren't ink and toner. Some people use office supplies and things like that. And so if you ever want to add that, that's where it's done. Now let's take the time to go through your store settings, and then I'll finish with some of the marketing tools that we have as well. Store settings, this is just something that we need to go through together to make sure it's set up the way you want it. Let's see, no admins. What's the email you want for everything to go to?
Tiffany@endless.inc.
Cool. Sometimes people have dedicated, order emails or whatever, so just wanted to make sure on that. Put your email in there. There's your address. Do you have a default tax rate for your state?
No, it varies county to county, but
Okay.
Just pick one. It's like either 7 or 6%.
Okay, well, I'll let you come back in here, and if you want to do one that's kind of default for every time you go, you can, or you can just put it in as you need it. So when I would say the most of what you sell, make this the default, and then go from there.
Go ahead and put it at 7%.
Okay. And then the delivery and shipping minimum, you don't have to set this right now, but you can set this as a default so that it's on every order form no matter what. So when you decide what you want to do with that, you can set that there. Is shipping a taxable item for you?
No.
No, okay. Nobody can request local pickup, right?
No.
Okay. We're going to display the savings to the customer. What about order urgency options like I need it today, I need it in 2 days, or no rush? It has a drop down for that when you order, and it basically says those things. No rush, I need it in 2 to 3 days, or I need it right away. Do you want to display those options?
What do you suggest on there?
If you want, well, the thing is, if you do it and you put it on there, the customers kind of expect you to kind of hold to it. And so if they put something on and you're like 2 hours away and you can't drop ship in the same day and they say they need it today, the only thing is they may hold you to that. And so if you don't have it.
Okay, yeah, just leave it, and then I might change it later if I decide to.
And if you do eventually, do you guys do service at all on printers, or you will be offering service of printers? Like if something goes wrong or printer jams or anything? Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and take that off, because in an order form, there's a little wrench next to each printer that you set up. And so if there's like a paper jam or if something goes wrong, they can let you know before they let their IT staff know. And that's handy because a lot of times with ink and toner resellers, their IT guy will come in and go, oh, it's these crappy Reman cartridges, and pull them out, and I'll sell you brand new ones and print OEM in. And that kind of damages you as a business person, and the IT person is now selling them cartridges. So that's one way to kind of combat that, is to let you know first. And if you need to send somebody out to service their printer, you can. But that's why it's there. So just think about that for the future, whether you want to offer that, or at least be first to be notified of something like that.
Okay.
Customers can create their own order forms. I have that turned on. Customers can modify their own order forms. This is where you'd want to choose, if a customer gets a new printer, do you want them to be able to add that on their own to their order form, or do you want them to contact you and have you add it to the order form? So which way would you rather it be? If they add it, you will get a notification that it's been added, and if it's not priced, you'll get a notification that it's not priced.
If it's added, let me know.
Okay, cool. So that's how that's set up. And then they can add unpriced items to their order forms, but you're going to be notified when that's done. If they didn't have this check, they couldn't even see an unpriced item, so they couldn't add it to an order form. So we always have that done to yes. You're not doing any leases, no POS system. Okay, cool. So I'll save that. And then from here, just know that if you provide extra services, if you want to consult with when they buy a new printer or copier, you can say yes to these. And anything you offer here, as they finish the quote, they'll get a thing going, oh, we also offer all these services. Would you like any information about that? And they can click yes. And then you can get an email saying they're interested in this stuff. You can turn this on if you want to. Your logo's here. You don't really see that. Welcome email. This is where you can customize the welcome email to kind of fit your needs a little bit better. If you want to say other things, you could say welcome to Endless Ink, customer. And so you basically just take that out and then put in whatever you want to. If you want to add extra verbiage to the middle of this, you can do that as well. If you ever see these kind of codes, like all capitals with underscores, don't ever change this in our name. Like if you were to come and erase that, it would essentially not pull in the customer's name for you when you're creating this and sending this out. So a lot of the functionality will leave if you delete the stuff that's capitalized. So leave all that stuff there. You can customize anything else. Same thing here, customer message. Here's a thank you message, confirmation message for the confirmation screen, a review order message, and this is for the green reports, which I'll show you in a minute. So you can add your own message to the thank you section if you want to customize it even more. Also the quotes, these are your quote defaults. So do you want to use the advanced quote as the default? Do you want to hide the images at the bottom of the quote? Show retail prices, show printers, show yields, show savings. Use your logo on the cover letter. You can do a quote message to them. So instead of just that, here's your quote that we saw right here, instead of just like this basic, like here's your quote, which we have as a default, you can type in a much better message like, oh, thank you for getting a quote with Endless Ink. We love the opportunity to quote your business, whatever you want to write in there. And then part of the quote we have, this ordering is easy online, email, phone, or fax. You can change that to whatever you want to. And then this you may not do. So make sure you do this one, because ask about our free and friendly delivery often same day. If you're not going to be able to do that same day, I would just put a space in there and blank that out so that you don't have to deal with it, and hit save. Payment processor, this is if you want to get credit cards going. You basically can click here to get more information about Authorize.net, which is our #1 reseller. You can sign up under here. You choose a pricing plan. You probably would need, if you don't have a merchant, are you taking credit cards right now?
I am, yeah.
Okay, cool. So you probably already have a merchant account. So you probably just need the payment gateway only. And so what this would do is allow this to be your payment gateway, and then it will interact with your merchant account. And so you could use that to set up credit cards, in our system. You basically just want to pick, we're just kind of the bridge. We don't really have much to support. So you pick the one you want, and then once you get an account with them, they'll give you your API login ID and transaction key. And then you can turn on credit card processing. There's a test mode here where you can go in and place test orders and run fake credit card numbers through, and it'll act like it's a real account. And so you can test those things out and make sure it's working. But I definitely recommend getting into the credit card processing, just because, again, it takes the A&R down. You don't have to chase people around for money. Okay, so that is the store settings. Over here, I just wanted to go through, if you want to add sales staff, it's real easy. A couple of things since you mentioned it. You have a basic sales rep, and that sales rep will share your same username and password. They may usually not have access to the system. Maybe you're doing all the setup for them. Maybe they're giving you their leads and you're setting up the quote and sending it to the customer, and then they follow up, and then they do it that way. That's one way to use it. If your sales reps are going to be very interactive with the system and you want them to use it, I suggest you use what's called a secure sales rep. What that does is give them their own username and password, so that when they're interacting with your EasyOrder account, they're only seeing the stuff that they do. So they're not seeing any of your house accounts, any of those large customers that you have. They only can see the stuff that they set up or that they service. And there is a $5 a month charge for having a secure sales rep. It's just one of those things, it's peace of mind to know that with sales reps, as you may have encountered in the industry, it happens all the time, but there's a high turnover rate for sales reps, and if somebody goes or gets squirrely, you don't want them taking all your customers with them. And so that's why we have this. So you can suspend them, you can delete them, and then all their accounts fall into your house accounts. So it's just up to you on how you want to use that. The regular sales rep is free. You guys share login credentials. You can also have a manager type that has a username and password. But either way you do it, just know that we have a system for either way. The other part I wanted to go through is marketing tools. We do have some things for you to help you market. Once you start getting customers in here, you can download all their information and then use that for, let's say use MailChimp or Constant Contact, and you want to do a newsletter. You can take all your customers that have been entered in EasyOrder and export all their data, and you can import that into a newsletter company's program, and then you can use that to email your contacts like, hey, we're doing this, we're excited about having this new product, whatever it is, you can do that. Also, once your customers start ordering, we have reports that show their order frequency. So I want to know customers who have never ordered. I want to know, of course, the customers that have ordered in the last 30 days, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, and 91 out. And so if you get customers who aren't ordering from you, it's a great way to focus on those customers, get a list of the customers that hadn't ordered in over 90 days, and then maybe export that info, send them a newsletter. Hey, we haven't heard from you in a while, we miss you, that sort of thing. The automated emails, this is what I was telling you about, and I suggest turning all these on. But basically, these are the follow-up emails I was telling you, where the system will follow up for you. So whether it be the order frequency is when they hit that threshold, 60, 90 days, whatever it is, and they hit that frequency, and then it'll send you an email that they haven't ordered in a time frame, and this will also send them we miss you, how can we help email. And again, you can come in here and customize this text. Just don't change this info, because that's pulling in the company's name. But anything else you can change. If you don't like any of the verbiage, you can change all this. But this happens as soon as they hit that order frequency. So 91 days out, you set it to 90, 91 days out, they get this email from your system. And you can choose whether or not to turn this on, whether you want to follow up with them and not have this email go out to them, or you want the email to go on. It's up to you, but you do have to turn it on. Quote follow-up is the same way. This is very handy. Basically, 30 days after you send somebody a quote, if they haven't converted their quote into an order form, it'll send them another email automatically. It says, how much can we save you? Thank you for completing your quote with us. We appreciate your interest and want to help you save money. Would you like to get another quote? And they can request a new quote. And it gives them all your contact information and says one of the reps will be contacting you soon. So that's another good one to have turned on. And then first order, welcome aboard. Thank you for ordering with us. Kind of simple follow-up to their first order, welcoming them in. And then, of course, every time they order, they get a confirmation email. And so you can, again, change this to put, anything you want to in here. If you want to put your own verbiage in here, you can do that. It's very customizable. Lastly, since you do have schools, I wanted to mention this. Green Reports. Green Reports is something we built in really as a marketing tool. It's really not a scientific thing, but schools love this. I have had some of my subscribers tell me that they give this to a school every quarter, and the school will actually hang it up in their administration office. We give them a certificate showing how green they were by ordering cartridges from you. And so it'll tell you how many pounds of landfill waste, how many gallons of oil that they've kind of offset their carbon footprint by ordering from Endless Ink. So not only do you get your logo and contact information hung up in their main administration office, they're very proud of this. So anybody who's very into green, the environment, saving, their carbon footprint, all that kind of stuff, you can give them certificates, and these are easily printable, and you can hand it to them. And again, schools eat this stuff up. They're hanging it up on their wall. They're showing your logo when people pass by. And so it's a great kind of marketing tool for you to have. It's kind of a feel-good marketing piece, but for some people, it's very important to be green. And so for those people, we have a nice little marketing tool for there. You do have a QR code. I don't think that's used much anymore. If you were to right-click and save this image, you could put it on any kind of printed material that you kind of made up for marketing yourself. And then if they QR scan that, it would take them to your sign up for an account page. So it's there. Not a lot of people are using QR codes as much anymore, so I just wanted to mention that. Last thing I want to talk about is the downloads page. We have some marketing materials that you may want to use. This is the leave behind piece for independence, which is what you are. And basically it's a PDF that you can print out and kind of keep with you in your marketing, toolbook. And you can come in here and change this. And then you put your address and your phone number and your contact information. And so basically it says ordering from us is easy. We have this super cool desktop icon. You just click on it, it instantly opens. What is online ordering? How is it customized to you? And then it shows cartridgereorder.com/demo. Contact us to sign up for this great free service. We make ordering ink and toner easy. So you can definitely have access to that. The demo video you have, and all the downloads we have in there. Most of our stuff, I know, did you find us through YouTube? Is that how you found us?
Yes.
Cool. So
Yeah.
most of our stuff is on our YouTube channel, which you've seen before. So if you want to look at that, we had a weekly webinar series that kind of dug deep into certain settings and different things like that. Also, we talk about outside of the box marketing. We have a whole thing on using LinkedIn to market. You don't have to go out and do cold calling anymore. That's not the way people get the best marketing done. Of course, you have these amazing clients that have to order from you, and I think that's awesome. So you may not have to use that stuff, but if you ever want it, it's on our YouTube channel. It's there ready for you. Now, I'm sure you guys' ears are bleeding and your brains hurt at this point. So is there anything else I can show you, or do you have questions about anything before I let you go?
I've got one question. So I saw that customers can pay with their credit card online. Is there anything where they can print something out if they're sending a check, or would that just be my regular invoicing system I would send? I was just curious if there was anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, they can print out their order confirmation. So when they get this, they could certainly print that out. It comes to them as a PDF down here anyway. So I could just open this up and then print it out and then send that along with their check. But there's nothing that really indicates that they're going to pay by check. Mostly what would happen is you would get the confirmation, and then you and your back-end accounting system would send up an invoice, and you would attach the confirmation to the invoice and then send that to them, and then they would have a terms with you, whether it be 30 or 60 or whatever you do, and they would pay by check.
Okay.
Anybody without credit card processing, you're just sort of assuming that you're going to invoice. Some people use our confirmations as invoices, and they just they make our order number become their invoice number, and they just use that as their invoice, and customers are expected to pay their order confirmation as an invoice. And some people do the whole formal, create their own invoice with their own number, tie it to our confirmation number, package that all up, send it to the customer, and then they have to pay that bill.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So you super excited?
I am. This is just going to make everything easier.
I will. It will streamline everything. And, you'll have more time to go out and market. You spend less time doing the busy work that is involved in this business of having to take orders from people and deal with all that. Everything will be streamlined for you. It's super safe and secure. We're behind SSL on everything that we do, so everything in our system is very secure. So if you have any questions or need anything, I like to call ourselves your sales partners. So if you run into a system or a customer that you don't know how to set up, I'm sure we're going to be talking more, because as you set up some of these complicated schools and different things like that, and, you can always call me and say, hey, would you help me set this up the first time, or show me how to get started or whatever, and then we can do that as well. So consider us your sales partners. We're here for you. As support goes, you can always get a hold of us in any page on EasyOrder by clicking on the little buoy icon. General support goes here. This is really the best way to contact us. Sometimes if I get a text or if I'm sent an email, it may get buried in what I'm doing for the day, because I'm not always On the support side of the business, I'm usually here on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I answer the phones to just kind of stay connected with my people. But Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I either could be working on other projects or different things like that. And so if you need something, click on the buoy. We have a great support team. We like to think we have some of the best support in the business. And you can just leave a support ticket. This goes into a support ticket system. We have to actually check it off to move on. So this is the best way to contact us because we have to make sure it's done before we can close it. Whether if it's an email, I get 300 so emails a day in spam and different things like that. So this is the best way to get stuff to us. And then if you encounter a product that you need to add to an order form that's not on there, you can definitely request that we add the product. Then we do all the research. We make sure it's true to our database and is all correct. We link it up with the price scraper and everything, and we'll add it to the system. Just try to give us as much information as you can, whether it be a printer name or maybe some of the cartridges or maybe even a website link where you see the cartridges at. Whatever you want to, the more info you give us, the easier it is for us to add. And that's really it. So I do appreciate you guys coming to training today. Don't hesitate to reach out with any questions. Again, if you want me to customize this more, Tiffany, you want to put phone number or any message you want to put here, we can do a little bit more to the header. If you did like the icon, I don't know, I just kind of threw that together. If you like this icon, we can keep it that. If you want to change it to something else, we can change it to something else.
Okay.
Okay.
Kansas, did you have any questions?
No, I'm good.
I like your name, brother. I didn't know if that was your name or where you were calling in from, but
yeah, that's my name.
Kansas is a cool name.
Mm.
It's like Cat. Everybody. My name's Cat, right? So everybody knows the dude named Cat.
Right.
And so anyway,
Right.
I appreciate people with cool names. All right, guys. Thank you for your time. I'm always here if you need anything. So get busy, start setting up people, and if you run anything, let me know.
Thank you.
Thanks. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye.